and welcome. I'm Snehi Shah and you are watching Startup Central, a show that throws the spotlight on disruption, innovation and India's startup ecosystem. This is your one-stop destination for all things innovation, entrepreneurship as well as emerging businesses. While we are talking about startups, let's get in touch with the management of Practo. And digital healthcare Practo has expanded its digital healthcare services in the UAE and aims to serve the Indian diaspora there. Shashank ND, the co-founder of Practo, is joining us on the show. And Shashank, hi, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Help us understand, right, because Indian startups are expanding internationally. Give us a sense and the overview of Practo's launch in the UAE and the key services being introduced for the users. And with this expansion, now help us understand how many countries are you present in?
First of all, thank you for having me, and you nailed it. It's now time for consumer internet come from India to go global. I'm very happy that in India we've been serving Indian consumers to help them with their choice of provider, either to meet them in person or do teleconsultation. And now we are launching similar services in the UAE. In the last few months, we've been live in Dubai, Sharjah, as well as Abu Dhabi. And I'm pleased to share that in this short time, 10% of Dubai users are already, Dubai population are already using Practo's services on an annual basis. So it's been a good last few quarters being live in the UAE and serving the population of these three cities of UAE.
Okay, so that's a take, but 10% of your Dubai population is using Practo services is what you said, but help us understand how many countries are you present in from a doctor and consumer standpoint, if you could help us with that number.
So we've, of course, launched our consumer services in India and UAE now, whereas our B2B services, which are to doctors, we provide software to doctors in over 20 countries. But from a consumer standpoint, from a consumer brand standpoint, and using our apps, now we're live in India, and now the second country is going to be UAE.
Okay, so India and then UAE, that's your latest expansion. And also help us understand what's the rationale behind choosing the UAE as your first Middle Eastern market, and why now? What's the significance of the timing right now? And also tell us how big is the addressable market for you when it comes to UAE?
I think UAE offers us a market which is, I would say, from a per capita income standpoint, a higher one from India. And so the focus of Practo is to launch in more developed countries going forward as well. So this is in that direction. And also in UAE, we have a very large Indian diaspora there's a very large Indian diaspora that's already aware of Practo as a brand. And so a common theme in our global expansion will be to target this diaspora and spread from there. The third aspect is also about providers and doctors. A lot of overlap between doctors who practice in India and then have now shifted location to the Middle East. So given this demography of the Middle East being developed, as well as having the Indian diaspora both on the consumer and provider side, it gave us the perfect place to expand our consumer offering to. But I'll also share that UAE is just the first pit stop in more countries that Practo's consumer offerings will expand into going forward.
Okay, so that's on UAE and the benefits of expanding there, but help us understand any other markets that you're prioritizing for expansion right now. What are you eyeing? And as far as your Indian market goes, what's Practo's plan to deepen its reach in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities back home?
Yeah, I think India has been a core focus of ours, and that will continue to be the core focus of ours. We've been very strong in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, and we have been expanding our telemedicine and AI capabilities in Tier 3 and Tier 4. That will of course continue. India is where we've been largely focused for the last 10 years, our efforts, and we serve almost 100 million plus Indian users who come to us every year, and that's not going to change. It's only going to grow. UAE marks the first country that we've launched outside India, and post this, our focus will be on other Western developed markets. If you would look at this vertical of doctor or healthcare delivery marketplaces, globally, I think Practo is one of the leading ones. And we believe that it's upon us, now that we're profitable and growing, it's upon us to expand and take this technology to more markets. We've been, it's been 17 years building the technology that Practo has built, and this technology is now a pioneer in this space. And so we believe that more developed markets and Western markets will benefit from this technology.
Okay, and moving on from there, then 100 million plus users in India sounds great, but what about your financials and profitability? Give us a sense of some numbers and how is your P&L looking at the moment?
Yes, I'm very happy to share that, we've been profitable for the last 5 quarters. And specifically, last full financial year, Practo has been profitable at the EBITDA level and at a cash flow level. We've been very happy that we've been one of the first few digital health tech companies at this scale to get profitable. And in the doctor marketplace, one of the very few that have been profitable globally. And of course, we intend to be profitable going forward as well.
Okay, so that's on your profitability and numbers, but now help us understand and give us the latest on what's happening on the IPO buzz, because you have expressed interest in going public. Tell us what are some key milestones that you're aiming at before initiating an IPO back home, and any timeline if you could help with. What are your thoughts about the IPO and when can we see that hitting the street?
I think that for us, the first milestone was to be able to deliver a technology that actually improves health outcomes. And in India and in more markets, we've been able to prove that computer science and data science products can actually independently improve health outcomes. Post that, we have been able to demand a very good market share in India and now been profitable for the last 5 quarters. Given this, I think the next milestone for us is to expand our business globally and while remaining profitable and growing sustainably. And I'm sure that with all these aspects ticked off, we are quite ready to going public. And I think it's a matter of a few years before we list the company. But a specific timeline would be something that the company's board will decide going forward.
Okay, and Shashank, before we let you go, I have to ask you a little bit on where you see the company headed, because IPO in the next couple of years sounds good, but Practo has grown from a doctor discovery platform to a comprehensive healthcare ecosystem. You have now expanded into multiple geographies as well. What's the growth outlook that you have for the company, both in the Indian market and on the global stage?
I think that, 2 very simple things. I think that one, we will continue to stay profitable and grow profitably. Coming to the growth, in India, our core business has been growing at 25-30% year on year for the last 3 years. And I think that will continue. Our core business is doing extremely well. From a GMV standpoint, we are doing close to about $400 million of GMV. I think with this, given this global expansion, I think Practo will target in the next few years to cross $1 billion in GMV in the digital healthcare space.
Okay, Shashank, great interacting with you, and thanks for your thoughts on where the company is headed. And well, an IPO in the next couple of years sounds very interesting, and we'll catch up with you once again before that as well, and when your IPO lists as well at that time as well. But on that note, we'll let you go, and viewers, with that, we'll slip into a very short break on this edition of Startup Central. More news and updates on the other side when we return.